This is an introduction to using Google Sites. So you're signed into your Garden City Gmail account. You go to the icon that has all the apps and you're going to click on Sites. As you can see, there are a variety of different layouts already in the template gallery. You can choose to use any one of those, or you can create your own using the blank. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to select Portfolio. By selecting an existing template, you can see that there are already photos and different placeholders set up in the design. It also has 3 pages, Home, About, and Project page already set up. If you click on pages on the right-hand side, you can see those, and you could use this to navigate from page to page. Whether or not you're using a pre-existing template, you can change the theme. Changing the theme will alter the text and also the color scheme. So I'm just going to click through these using my home page just to see the different options. I like the style of impression, especially the typeface, so I'm going to stick with that one. I'm going to make some changes to the page. Just by highlighting, I can add my own text because of the text box placeholder that already exists. On top, you can change the text with a few different options. By clicking on the photo, you can crop, uncrop, insert a link, delete, or click more options and you can replace the image. You could add text, so if the image does not show up, there's that alternate text. So by changing the image, what's great about Google is everything is linked. You could keep photos on your Google Drive, or you could use your Google Photos. So I'm just going to select what I have in my Google Drive as a placeholder, a photograph by a student that was previously taken. Clicking on the left-hand toolbar gives you some different options for your selected text, image, presentation. Just by clicking on that small palette, you can change it to some of the options. Changing colors, you go back to the right-hand side and just click on the color scheme below. You can also click on the paint bucket to change up the color and make it your own. As mentioned before, everything is linked because it is the Google application. So if you want to include presentations or projects, it will automatically link to what you already have saved on your Google Drive. So let's insert a photo. I can upload or select an image from the drive or my Google Photos. So I'm just going to select the cover that Hannah has created. So I'm going to name that project underneath. So if I click on the square around where the video icon is, it opens up Edit Placeholder. My file type I can change very quickly, so this is great if you like a pre-existing layout or template and you don't want a presentation, you don't want a video, all you have to do is swap it out, which is very user-friendly. I'm just going to make a few more edits on this home page. One of the most important features is the preview selection. So when I open that up, it's going to open it as if I'm looking on a desktop. It also has options for an iPad or tablet as well as a mobile phone device. So that will give you an idea of how your site will look on different devices, which is pretty important if you're publishing this. I'm just going to take a peek at the About page and the Project page. I'm just going to leave that for now. If I click on the gear icon, it opens up some settings. There's some navigation. You can change your navigation to a sidebar, which I kind of like a bit better. It shows up underneath the icon on the top left. If you have a brand or logo, you can open that up and upload it there. There's some viewer tools, analytics, and an announcement banner. Let's test that out. You can include buttons, which also need links. If you have sub pages, that's a good way to include them. And what's great is the links. If you just click like I did, you're able to add a quick link. You can open that link in a new tab if you choose, or it can open up on the same page. I can also choose to have that button on my home page only or have it appear on all pages. So if there's a specific link and you want it constantly shown on all pages, that's a good way to do that. We will talk more about the other settings at a later time. So I'm going to X out of the settings and head back to my site. As you can see, the announcement banner appears up top as well as the button. So I'm going to test that out, and that opens up the page that I've linked it to. So let's preview this to see how it looks. So I have my side menu that shows up a little different than when we were practicing. So the announcement shows up on all the pages as well as that button. This is great if you are coming out with a new product or you have something that you need to share with everyone. It's right in your face, it stays right up top. On the right-hand side with text box, images, and Drive, there's an embedded option. We are going to talk about embedding images and HTML coding in this unit. So for right now, we're going to leave that as is. Again, underneath those inserts, there are some layouts you can choose from, and there's some really great options that you can also include. If I click on pages, I can add some new pages. So let's add a test page. We're not going to worry about a custom path. So it opens up a blank page. So my test page appears right now under home, so it follows that. I'm going to click on, let's see, I'm going to move this around. I'm going to add a sub page underneath my project page. So if you are working on a portfolio and let's say you want your paintings, your drawings, your media arts, you can create these sub pages. And as I click and drag, it reorganizes in the order that I want my pages to appear. I am going to test out some of these layout options. I'm just going to start clicking and moving things around. As I always say, it's super important to test things out, see how it looks. You could always delete. You're not publishing this just yet, so anything you do, only you will see it. I've tested out a few different things. I'm going to go back to pages and click on more. I'm going to test out some of these as well. So collapse text. Let's add a title. See how this works. And underneath, I'm going to add some text that I believe will be hidden. And if I click that arrow, it appears. Okay, so now we see how the collapsible text works. I get it now. So this is good maybe for articles, things that are a little bit longer that you would want hidden. So you can change up that text as I've just showed you. Adding a table of contents will break down that text. And let's try out image carousel. So I'm going to select a few different photos. I've made some top bars for Google Classroom. I'm just going to use those for the purpose of this tutorial. So I've selected those. I've clicked insert. You need at least 2 images as it states on the bottom for a carousel. And this is going to allow the viewer to scroll through. Oh, this is very cool. So if I move things around, it almost is like a guide. So if you want things centered or off-centered, that's very interesting. Again, we've done buttons, a divider, okay, just looks like a line to divide up different things on your page. Okay, let's see if I can change that up. So that's actually changing the gallery icon, which is kind of interesting. Okay. Again, I have to try this out a little bit more. I am testing it out just like you guys. So again, placeholders, we saw that in the beginning. I can choose what type of content I want. So you could place these and then go back later on and change it up, which is great. Let's insert our honors just to see how it's going to look. Okay, so it has some information of different things that are happening. I can move that around as well. Not the prettiest, but it has the information if you needed a calendar inserted in there. Let's try map, and we will do Garden City High School just as a test. See how this looks if you opened up a business. Pretty important to have a map, especially if it's new. Okay, so that's pretty clear. Google Maps along with our Google Calendar. I'm going to resize the bounding box to make it fit. Okay, so those look pretty equal. I can add docs, slides, sheets, again, totally linked. Let's add my virtual classroom expectations just to see how this is going to look if you have a resume and it's uploaded as a doc. It's a good way to include that. So let's see, I'm gonna go back home and let's preview what we've included. Okay, I'm gonna click on the desktop so we can see how that looks. Oh, by clicking that bright green, it's changed quite a bit. So I need to be careful when clicking. I was clicking a bit too fast. Underneath my project page, we have our test page and our more page. So our more page, we have our collapsible text. We also have the table of contents, which are links on that page. So I could put that text lower. We have our gallery of images, which is pretty cool, especially for a portfolio. We have our map and our calendar. And as you can see, the Google Doc at the bottom, which allows you to scroll through. I'm going to change it up just to see how it's going to look on a phone or a mobile device. So everything is pretty neat. Now the gallery, it cuts off a bit. No, it looks teeny. Okay, so perhaps if you're focused, and again with that, you would have to click on it. Things are going to appear smaller when you're on a mobile device. That is definitely something to think about and keep in the back of your mind. But overall, it keeps everything as is. The images are pretty small to begin with, so we shouldn't base too much off of that. If you're creating larger images for your gallery, it perhaps will look slightly different. That was just a short intro to Google Sites. This should be able to help you get started on your own Google site.